Hello family and friends, it's Kanoi back with another flip through, a chattier version of my beloved Louis Vuitton junk journal. I posted a video several years ago of this junk journal, but it was a quick one and people have been requesting for a flip through. So this was the second junk journal I ever made. It was a little bit more structured than the first one I made. So if you watched my first video, you will have seen that it was just very much so a bunch of stuff thrown into a journal. Very junky. This one is still very junky, but it does have some structure to it. So as you can see, I put some scrapbooking paper here on the front inside cover. And I did start to get into the digital printables. So this was a library book card. No, library, what do you call these? Library card. Yeah, library card. Anyway, there was a printable there. And here I sewed 2 pages together to create a pocket. I have a journaling card. I love this journaling card. I wish I had more of them. It is a calendar. So I was kind of doing some planner type things along with some journaling. And I have a vintage piece of fabric sewed onto that journaling card, a doily for a tuck spot, and then some journaling cards. We did the first sunset of the year. So this was 2021. I created this junk journal for New Year's, and this was our very first sunrise family photo of 2021. I intended to be able to have this picture, you know, to be able to change it out, but I don't know why I would do that if this is a journal slash scrapbook. So my word for the year was simplify, so I wrote that there on that piece. And then we switched schools. So this was the first day of school at their new private school whenever COVID, we were still in the middle of COVID, and this was a private school that was offering in person. So I did some journaling on that. This is a tea stain book page that I sewed a piece of ribbon on, did some journaling. The USPS, I have a bunch of these envelopes. They're just plain white. And so I did decorate them and then just added some things inside the envelope. I think that's a card. I have several things in there. I don't know. And these were images from a magazine, I believe like a scrapbooking magazine that I found at a library book sale. They were like 10 cents or something. And then just some church notes, and I love this black paper. This came from a notebook, these little notebooks that I bought from Daiso. And it had this black paper, and I wish I had more. I love to be able to write with the white and the gold pens. And I just did some journaling. I started singing on the worship team again. And then here is just a picture of my daughter, did some journaling. This was from a coffee sleeve. I just cut out the stamped portion. I think we were still very new to the church, so I saved a lot of churchy things. And then this is the Louis Vuitton bag that the wallet came in, which was perfect for creating a page, flip out page here. And you can see that I did do some sewing. I added some printable pockets. Here's a letter from our child that we sponsor that I kept in there. Cute little drawing. And then my son and my husband were playing ukulele, and I just thought that was a really sweet moment that I wanted to capture. So I just placed that photo there in this little coin pocket. I have some little odds and ends. Printable doily from Little Bindi, one of my favorite Etsy shops. Johanna she's my favorite junk journal. I always say it. And this is a piece of coffee stained book page, I think. Yeah, so I'm using a lot of coffee stained papers in here. Again, lots of journaling. That part did not change. I still did a ton of journaling, lots of cards in here, Christmas cards, New Year's cards, coffee stained vellum, and an envelope. I ordered some new vitamins, and I loved this Mary Ruth's. I just love this little vintage image that she has on all of her packaging. So I did some journaling on that. I think I was testing out some pens here. So I was saying these are my favorite pens. That's always good to go back to because I feel like I find favorite pens and then I forget about them. Some stamping here on this coffee stained paper. A day at the doctor's once again. I was going through they found cancer cells in my uterus. So there was a lot of visits that I had to make to the doctor and surgeries and all kinds of stuff. So here is an envelope that I made. I was following Joey DeFee. She's another one of my favorites, and she makes she makes a lot of envelopes out of book pages. So I was following along, and I created this envelope here, which created this little flip out, also inside of a pocket, which was the other side of that Louis Vuitton bag. I think I just have church notes in here. More church things. And a photo. I did a segment. Again, I was a TV host, so I did a segment at a hot dog place, and these were all of the faces that my editor decided to send to me, the many faces of Kanoi. So I just printed that out because I did tend to make a lot of faces when we did food segments. And here's a Stumptown Coffee playing card. Just did some journaling on the black paper once again. I think I'm going to do more with black paper. I'm going to remember that. Here's a glassine envelope with a pressed flower on the inside of that. I think this was from some Happy Mail that I received. The other side of the USPS envelope, and this time I did a pocket that was top loading. And I love this, you guys. So this was a year ago, and I had written down some dreams of mine. And it's funny because I looked back and many of these have come true in the circumstances that I never thought. We had no intentions to move here to Vegas, and we did. So for instance, the single family home and keep our current home, we did that. I wanted to be able to stay home and not have to work, and now I'm doing that. Kids to continue to private school. My kids are in private school here. I wanted to do an RV trip, and we did that this year. I wanted a mainland getaway home, which we actually is our, right, it's probably going to be our getaway home one day, but right now it is our primary residence. And then I just have this, I think this is a sticker. It was kind of just floating around, but I thought it was cute to have inside of there. And then this was the official, I think it was the official invitation to the inauguration, which was done by, I forget the name of the artist, but it was so darn cute. And I was following her on Instagram. And so I just printed it out. I hope that was okay. It was really only for my own personal memento, I guess, to be able to keep that. I'm big on, the copywriting of people's art. So I know that this may be wrong, but it's not to sell or anything. It really was just for me to remember. And another Planner Society package, which I always use these to create pockets. And this was when I joined the Get Messy art, and they sent me this adorable card. So I definitely wanted to keep that in here to remember. And another pocket, but I have nothing in it. Oh no, I do. Just some packaging. I think this was from a holiday bag. This is a cutout of a holiday bag. The closest thing we have to experiencing winter. I lived in Hawaii, so not a lot of wintry weather. So I cut that out. And then I was an extra gum addict, and these were these adorable illustrations that were on the inside of the packages. So by Maya Pagan. And so I was kind of saving those, and I just stapled them onto this page here. And this was really cute too. I think this is from the Places You'll Go. There's fun to be done. There are points to be scored. There are games to be won. And the magical things you can do with that ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame. You will be famous as famous can be, with the whole wide world watching you on TV. I scratched out win because I was on TV at the time, and I just thought that was really, it was really cute and really sweet and kind of indicative of my life at that time. Printed one of the Bernie photos. I like to do this sometimes just to remember some of the things that are trending on social media or whatever it is. And the Bernie photo at the time was one of them. So I printed that out. And then this was a magazine page that I kept. So I do hoard magazine pages if they look like this. So this was kind of perfect for a junk journal page. And an old postcard that I probably, journaled on. This was an invitation to our church play. A little tuck spot here, or actually a flip out, tip in, whatever they call it. And another printable, I think this was my porch prints. And the card that came with Your Creative Studio, and this was one of the pieces of paper that came in the notepad from Your Creative Studio. I stopped my subscription, but I kind of think I want to start it up again because she had the cutest things. And this page here was a page from a deconstructed planner, but way too cute to throw away, so I kept that, printed it out. I think this came in a planner kit at one point, or I may have printed it, I'm not sure. I like to print pictures on vellum. And I also like to do this. I like taking old dictionary pages that have a word that I like to focus on. So this one was fashion. I'm not sure why I chose this one, but I liked it. And I had this picture, this little ephemera piece here. Actually, it looks like it was just something I printed out. And so I just placed that on there. Some photos of my kids with their cousin playing. Oh, I did some more photos here. Okay, I just tucked them into here. So they were playing in the rain, also at the beach. Some cousin love. More journaling. And this was a page from a planner. Was this Traveler's Notebook? I think this was from a Traveler's Notebook. And this was a jumper or a... what do you call those? It was an outfit that I was about to give away, but I loved the fabric. So I do that. If I am about to clean out my closet and I find a piece of clothing that I love the fabric of, I will keep the fabric. I will keep that outfit and just cut it all up. Because I'm like, why buy fabric if you have some and you're just going to give it away anyway? So I do that. Here's a receipt from a breakfast that I had with a friend. Oh, best fried chicken. So this was the package that the fried chicken came in. Zippy's in Hawaii. If you know, you know. And then, of course, some donuts from that place, too. Let's see. This is a little book page with some vintage fabric sewn on. An old atlas page. And I was finally getting better at the sewing game, so... absolutely have to keep trying. We just keep practicing, and it's great to practice on these types of cards because they're the perfect thickness. They don't jam up your needles. Here's a business card that I got from a friend after buying a little seashell shelf from her. And then my daughter drew her birds here. It was the most adorable thing, the way she spelled blueberry and broccoli. It's blue, B-L-O-O-B-A-R-E-E, and then broccoli, B-R-O-C-L-E-E. I just thought that was the cutest little thing. Did some painting on here and some journaling. Love, some of my favorite things are gummies, and I made some, we have these snacks in Hawaii called lihing lemon gummy bears. And it's lemon peel with this lihing moi, which is kind of like a sour, sweet powder that is put on traditionally on dried plums, but you add this all to gummy bears and it just creates the most amazing snack ever. And here is another envelope that I decorated and have another photo of us at New Year's. A coffee dyed hymnal with Beloved Society. I think that Beloved Society girls, I think that's what the names of those girls. Here's a little gold doily, which I just wrote a couple of things on here. Lots of journaling. I saw somebody making these little collage, what do they call these? Clusters, collage clusters. So I made a couple of those, and I wasn't really happy with them, so it is what it is. It's always fun to just experiment with some of the things, and that's the fun about junk journaling. You can try out different methods and throw them in here, and they don't have to be these great works of art. Okay, so lots of journaling, and then I took these glassine bags and just created little tag pockets, and I just used printables, and then I backed it with some packing paper, and then put some tulle in the hole, and then you've got a really cute, two-sided pocket here with a doily. And then I think this was from some packaging. The other side of that envelope here. And then my Converse tag, I said the official worship leader shoe. It was at the time, Converse. And then more painting because I'm afraid of white space. So I'm okay with it now, but I generally won't put in a white piece of paper into my junk journals anymore, I don't think. Here is a card that my friend sent to me. She has an Aloha is Love. I was wearing the shirt on a segment that we filmed, so she took a photo and sent me a thank you card. She's the sweetest. And then also here was our Hakule sponsor that used to give us the lei for our show. Okay, let's see what else. Here's some tissue from your creative studio. I love this tissue paper. And this is a drink I just peeled off. It was off of a glass bottle, and I love this. Shaka Tea Hawaii. This was another sponsor that we had, and we were doing segments with them, so I just peeled it off. More and more journaling. This is me and my co-host. So this was the new advertisement that came out and was in a magazine. So I just wanted to clip that, keep that piece. See, these dictionary pages are so flimsy, so this is totally falling apart. Another one of those tea, it's not packaging, I guess it's the tape that goes around the tea. And then I sewed a journaling card on here. Pocket made out of magazine. No. Yeah, I think these were 2 magazine pages that I made a pocket out of. And then this was a card that a friend gave to me. All right. Lots of cards. Lots of cards. But you can see I made a lot of pockets in this one. And I don't know how I feel. I always go back and forth with whether or not I like the idea of having lots of pockets or not. So I don't know. I think with the monkey mind, I'm never quite happy. This is an old book page, and then a printable from Little Bindi of one of her doilies. My daughter and me at the beach. And then here's just a guest check that I did some journaling on. Another pocket from my porch prints, I think. I'm just throwing that name out there. That's the only name I remember that I printed from. Here's a time card and a tuck spot. Piece of vellum that I got from an old planner subscription that I had, and I honestly don't even remember the name of the planner subscription at the time. And then this is a paper pad that I got, and I want to say I got it from like TJ Maxx or something. So I have a ton of these, and these pages have shown up in several journals and things that I've done. And I actually printed this piece of vellum for an old planner that I deconstructed. So I just cut a little piece, created a tuck spot here. Here's a photo of our family at the beach. More painting, more journaling on the white paper. More clusters. Some fabric that I sewed on once again. And then we hit New Year's, so Chinese New Year. And I kept some of these items that we probably got. Oh, no, this was my sister's. My sister had sent out some Happy New Year, I guess, cards. So I got one and I kept it. I thought it was really cute. And here's a piece of vellum. I don't know if I printed that or if I had it, but I simply sewed it as a flip up. And same concept here. This was from Daiso. I think this is a wax paper. Not super good to write on. I mean, not like you would. It's already printed, but really great collaging item. And then the other side of that Louis Vuitton packaging here that I sewed a piece of scrapbook paper on to create another pocket. And this was just a brown paper bag, so I put a piece of that wax paper on there. And just have my church invitation for the women's conference. One of my favorite drinks is Diet Cherry Pepsi, so I cut this out of the box and just plastered that on in there. And then lots of church notes, an envelope, I believe, from my porch prints. The other side of that brown paper bag with just photos. We lost our birds. This is a really actually miraculous story. My parakeets flew out the door because we had a contractor over. The parakeets flew out. We actually found them in the neighborhood. One of them was way up in a palm tree and the other one was found, luckily I had put a memo out and it had flown to a neighbor's house like down the street on their porch on this sign. So almost camouflaged on this green sign. And my son found this one way up in the palm tree. I don't know how he did, but this one ended up flying home because this one was way down the street too. And it ended up flying home, came to the back side of our house, which we live on the marina, and it was flying back and forth over our dock, and it finally landed on the neighbor's dock and then what flew onto the neighbor's deck. So then I was able to go over to the neighbor's house and bring it back home. And it was just the most miraculous thing. My children were devastated. They're crying, they were praying, and everything that I read said that your animal will never come home. I mean parakeets, because they get disoriented. And somehow we got both of our parakeets back. Since then, we have been able to rehome them to a bird sanctuary, and they are happy as can be. So, you know, not living indoors anymore. They're living outdoors in this beautiful sanctuary. And then here is a little card that I don't even know. I don't remember what this is. Oh, of course, something my daughter made, probably in Happy Valentine's Day, Rel. Kelly. Oh, goodness. My brother-in-law, so my sister and my brother-in-law don't have kids, but they are the most amazing auntie and uncle, and they used to take my daughter on Friday dates. They used to keep her on the weekends, and she loved hanging out with them. And so my brother-in-law gave her, oh God, that is so sweet, gave her a Valentine's Day card, and it was just so sweet. They took her on a date. He took her on a date to show her what it means to have a good man. Let's see. So another pocket, just more journaling. I went to a restaurant and this was the doily on the table. So of course I had to keep that. And I just wrote what I had for lunch that day. And I think this is just a book page that I did some journaling on. Here was a Dunkin' Donuts segment that I did at work. We filmed there. And so I just kept the packaging of my donut and then did some more journaling about that segment. That one was a really fun one. This girl is so sweet. She was the spokesperson for that. And I said, my favorite donut, vanilla cream filled. I'll never forget that. That was a childhood favorite. And another tuck spot that I created with that Louis Vuitton vellum. So I must have sewn it across the page so I have it on both sides. More journaling, more vellum. Another piece of fabric that I sewed. This piece I just stapled on. I think this was just an image that I printed and sewed it. And then here was another place that we did a segment at, and this was their business card. So I just kept that. Best smash burgers. If you ever go to Oahu, go to the Daily. They have really great smash burgers. And here I created a really large belly band, but realized that the thickness of this, you're not going to get much in there, probably other than like an envelope or something. And here was the... So I always, if there is a restaurant that I go to that I love and they have some sort of packaging, I will try to keep a piece of it just for my journal and my memories. And again, I was writing some hopes and dreams, and a lot of these things, of course, came true. So amazing. Here was a library card pocket. I want to say this was Planner Society. And these were just things I've been hoarding over the years. I've never used them. And so I'm finally able to. I love that in junk journals, well, some people have themes and colors and, you know, they make these beautiful journals. Mine don't match, so I love that. I love that I can put any page I want. I can put any piece of ephemera. I can put any piece, you know, of memory in here, and it will make sense to me in the chaos. Just some church notes, printable doily from Little Bindi, and this was a piece of vellum that came in a planner subscription kit. So these were all pages that I never ended up using in those, you know, obviously they were kits to be used to create planners, and I never did it. This was my Hobonichi. It's so interesting. They come with the largest instruction booklets. So I kept that. And another envelope that I made out of, looks like a printable. It may have been a printable envelope. It looks like, the way that it's cut, it looks like it was created to be an envelope. And then this was the packaging that my Hobonichi came in. So it actually came from Japan. It was a Japanese one. And I just loved this. I loved everything about this. If you know, you know. I love international postage. I wrote that. And the reason why I got a Hobonichi was because we were renovating our home, and so my craft supplies were all going to be off limits. And I knew that, so I needed something that I could journal in. And I had been seeing Hobonichis on Instagram, and so I thought, oh, that would be something that is, you know, that's workable. And I honestly I did use it, but I wasn't happy with it. It just wasn't this. So I used it for a little while. And these looks like some pieces that I was going to do some journaling on, but never did. So be it. Old book page. And here, this is where I lost steam. I think this was where, this was probably when I started using the Hobonichi. Even though I don't journal in chronological order, I tend to journal from the inside out. So my last pages will generally be empty. Some packaging from Popeye's Chicken. This was when the sandwich came out and it was super popular, and I was ordering them every single day. So get that. Some coffee stain ledger paper, and this is a real library card. It's not a printable. Some Planner Society vellum that did I make a pocket? No, that's not a pocket. Packaging from, this was another segment that we did, and their packaging, these little jellies came inside of this box, and hello, how cute is that box? So definitely had to keep that. I got some new watercolors, so I did some swatching on this watercolor paper. And this came from Daiso, so I just glued part of it down and then created another page. And this was a digital journaling kit for, it was a journaling kit that was about praise and worship. And I want to say it was an Advent journaling kit, but I didn't finish it. Another pocket here, another tuck spot here, more coffee stained ledger paper, magazine pages to create a pocket with some church notes, the book page, and I think that's pretty much the end of that. And another journaling card. So what I might do, I always say that I'll do this and I haven't done it yet, is maybe go back and use these pages to practice some, I don't know, get messy art, or practice some sort of, I don't know, technique that I've never tried before. These pages are free, so I may as well do something in them. So I got to remember that it's in there. But that was the end of one of my favorite junk journals. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. I will have one more one more flip through video of my Christmas junk journal that I made coming up either tomorrow or the next day. So thank you again, and subscribe if you like junk journaling kind of stuff. And if you like my style, if I help to inspire you, please subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of my videos. And if not, there are many more amazing junk journalers out there, someone for every type of style. But thank you again, and I will see you guys on the next one. Aloha.